Now we're headed into the last half hour of the market here on Wednesday. And let's talk about pattern. Now, the low of the day that occurred right here at 8:10. This is a 5-minute chart. The low at the time was, I gotta check a different chart, 97.75. And then we came down and we tested that low just a little while ago at 98.50. We're going to go lower. So we should be short. And we should be short beyond 97.50. So where do you think that might go? Let's just take a look at the profile. Now you've got a low volume node right in here, which is pretty much where the market was headed earlier this morning. Now that should get exceeded. And then we ought to at least go down to this high volume node down here at 95.50. Okay, that makes sense. Now what's the pattern? Morning low at 8:10. Morning high 10:35. What kind of a pattern is this? Yellow day. What does a yellow day pattern do in the afternoon? A yellow day down. The last half hour will always exceed the morning low. That's the pattern. So, got to give it a little time here, but that is the pattern. That's what we should see take place. Now, are we going to see it go much lower than that? Chances are no. Why is that? Let's take a look at a different. This is our initial balance. The initial balance, morning low 97.75, morning high, as it went to 31.50, it hit the first standard deviation mark. Now, it has hit the first standard deviation mark 3 times. 3 times so far this week, so every day. Statistically, 3 is the average per week. Maybe a little bit more than 3. So it might happen again tomorrow or maybe Friday. But even though Wednesdays are a very good day for it to hit the first standard deviation mark, it's not a good day to expect it to hit the standard deviation mark to the low side. Very unlikely. So statistically, we'll drop lower. Probably will stay above yesterday's close. And that's as far as she's going to go. It'll finish out the pattern, hitting the new low in the last half hour, but at the same time, not going perhaps as low as yesterday's close. It's likely market's going to try to keep it above that. So that's what we anticipate is going to happen here. So we'll come back after we see how things develop. So we're short. And we'll just show you how our indicators are taking us short again just as we speak here. Here we have the premium CFB indicator down here. Nice pattern for the TSC, very clear, hits the max, goes down, takes it up just a bit higher to a lower high. Very typical. Very typical. Now, could it go higher? Sure it could. But this is what we look for. Beautiful pattern. And really overextended, very interesting. We get a higher high here, lower high here, but a higher high on the indicator. So we have reverse divergence there. So we'll come back in just a bit. Now this pattern, this is a 500 tick bar chart. This is a bit suspect. Normally, if you see hitting the highs hitting max highs here, we would expect another attempt up. But the RSX Dyna was very divergent at that last high, as was the CCX, and the CFB was just beginning to move up, giving it more momentum to the south. So it looks like that was likely the high. Now we reversed and headed back up to our high here. The timing is kind of interesting. Look at our clock. We have at 1:31 Mountain Standard Time, we find ourselves having a high concentration of minor pivots. And that's what we had here. At 1:37, we have a larger number of major pivots right there, okay? So now we're headed back up, but we anticipate this is going to turn. This is going to turn again. And let's bring our clock back. So here we are at 1:40. Nothing that much on the radar here until 1:46. And then 1:51, big time. But the pattern needs to finish. So we got out of this trade, we're going to get back in. Got filled at 51.11. Okay, we'll come back. So now we're 15 seconds away from the 9:46 high probability pivot. Let's get into this. There we go. Averaging in. We're going up to the VWAP here, or at least attempting to. But big divergence right there. CFB is just pushing it higher. We had some contracts up there at 1375. I think we're going to go for just a little bit more on that. See if we can get a little better fill. Okay, got it. All right, what's going on? Yeah, look at the CFB, still pushing up, going a little bit higher. But watch this come back big time. Now we said 1051, we have a high probability pivot. It's hitting at 50. Here's the stats. And there you see big spike down on the premium. See how far it takes it. And there we have the 155 pivot. But she's not coming down all the way. And this is getting a little late. But there's a 155, 156 pivot. High probability 155 pivot. This definition, these 60 pivots here, are based upon a 1 minute chart with a left and right strength of 30 for the pivot. And so this is based on 10 and 10. Now, when patterns fail, this one is failing at the moment, but the day is not over. The tendency is to finish the pattern in the overnight market. But we've still got time. We could easily plummet. So we're just going to give it some time and watch. And incidentally, when we put on the session lows, closes, and so on, here's your close. All right. That takes the close all the way back. This is the close from the previous day. I'm pretty sure that's right. Gonna have to check on that just to be sure. No, pardon me, that was the open of the previous day. So she tried to make it back up to the open, couldn't get above it, coming back down. Now, we delayed this video for some time just to show you that, in fact, yes, most of the time, the pattern really does